Hey everyone, I'm Mind, and I just got another issue of the LEGO Ninjago Magazine. Still playing a bit of catch-up with these. I know this is not the most recent magazine, but we'll be there soon. But anyway, this month's issue is very exciting. It comes with a Frak minifigure. Frak is personally my favorite new character of Dragons Rising. I love him so much. His minifigure is far from perfect, and I'm just happy it exists at all. But unfortunately, it was exclusive to a very expensive set. It was, what, $90, $100? So I thought it was such a shame that this awesome character had such a high barrier to entry. But now, thanks to this magazine, if you're in a country where this magazine's available, you can now get Frak for significantly cheaper. And if you already have the set, it's awesome to get a duplicate as well. But then the magazine's even better because this is one of the magazines that comes with a bonus minifigure. If you guys don't know how the bonus minifigure works, every few months they try to recycle old magazines that didn't sell their entire stock. So they include an extra minifigure from a previous magazine, and this is not guaranteed to be any one specific minifigure. So if you're in the UK where they do the magazine and they do the bonus minifigures, you might get the same one I got, or you might get a different one. But yeah, in my case, I got Climber Lloyd, which is actually a really great one. Climber Lloyd's a super cool minifigure. Of course, Lloyd's like the main character of Dragons Rising. But this suit only came in the magazine in a $120 set. So yeah, I will absolutely take an opportunity to get an extra of him. I was already excited about Frak, but yeah, these minifigures together, this is a great combination. As always though, we'll take a closer look at them at the end of this video. For now, let me remove them from the cover of the magazine, so that way we can see what it actually has in store. Alright, here's a look at the full cover. Unfortunately, the Pelly bags did take a little bit of the magazine with them, but I think we can still see what we need to. It says, wow, LEGO Toy, Snake Ninja Frak, plus bonus minifigure. LEGO Toy, Super Sharp Elemental Master Quake Ninja Frak. Hit or miss, be a whiz in our quiz. Ninja vs. Imperium Power Grab. For a moment I thought that said Power Crab, and I really like the idea of a Power Crab. I want to read that comic. But yeah, we've of course, as always, got an action-packed comic and some epic posters. So without further ado, let's get this open and see what's inside. We have an advertisement for the LEGO Play app, just like we had last time. And then here at our table of contents, we have the Villain of the Month. Have you ever felt completely powerless and terrible? That you might have been afflicted by Kerr, the Master of Decay. Roby knows all about it. She even managed to turn him gray with her power. Kerr is one of the Forbidden Five and stole a prismatic blade from the Temple City. We've got the Meanometer to rank how mean you think she is. And we have a Cursed, with a K. Use your LEGO bricks to build a Mega Mech to which she can transfer her powers. The ninja are in danger of a violent attack, infestation, and destruction. You know, I've actually done that. I have a whole video making mechs for the Forbidden Five. If you haven't watched that video yet, you should. It's a good video. And I make mechs for all of the Forbidden Five, including Kerr. But then moving on, we should have a bio page on the minifigure Frak, yes. I love Frak so much. Let's see what they have to say about him. Frak. I love his little snake symbol. It's so cute. Frak. The Master of Quake has been a big ninja fan since he was a kid. Alongside Aaron, Sora, and Wildfire, he's a new addition to the team of heroes. You can find more Fraktastic facts here. Did you know Set 71844 is the first and so far only set to include Frak as a minifigure? I do know that. I pointed that out before. But now we have the magazine as well, which is awesome. Oh, he's pointing out. He goes, hey, I'm featured in this magazine too. That's really funny. They're like calling out the fact that, like, yeah, we know this is an exclusive minifigure. We're getting it out to you guys. I actually appreciate that. That's awesome. Anyway, let's read all about Frak. First foe. In the Tournament of Sources in Season 2 of Dragons Rising, Frak is still a member of Roz's team. In a duel, the Serpentine has to face his childhood idol Cole, and wins. Sorry, my hero. Those are the rules, Frak. Then friend, Gis. When Roz casts out Frak, the heroes take him in. Cole and Kai train the reptile in Season 3. I don't know how I feel about them calling him the reptile. And with combined forces, they uncover the remains of the Source Dragon. Then furious. Take that! Thanks to the technological prowess of Imperium, Kai and Frak convert their prismatic blades into reveal blades. These help to rid the city-state of spectral Dragonians. At the end of Season 3, the heroes join forces to defeat the great threat posed by the Chaos Dragon Thunderfang, but at a high price. From now on, the powers of all Elemental Masters are completely out of control. What happens to their elemental powers? Find out more on pages 28 and 29. That's interesting. I wonder if it'll actually be revealing anything about the new season. I doubt it. They usually don't. But I'm curious about that, the fact that they're calling it out. Proud Reptile. Frak is proud of his roots. He is the first Serpentine in the ninja team. I think that's so awesome. I love Frak so much. The idea of a snake ninja is so cool. Oh, he's got strong aura as well, apparently. Frak plus hissing equals fleeing thugs. When Aaron is bullied by some bad boys, Frak comes to his rescue in a brave way, and gains Aaron as a friend. And then we've got a game right here, Frequent Flyer. By the way, I don't know if I ever pointed this out. I missed this in my review. Frak's jet is meant to have a little snake face at the front. I don't know how I missed that, but that's so adorable, and I love that so much. Frak is in his jet exploring the new area where he ended up at the end of Season 3 Dragons Rising. Assist the Serpentine with his maneuvers as a co-pilot. They're encouraging you to use your LEGO bricks to build fascinating beings that he will encounter on his voyage. That's very funny. Anyway, yeah, this is just one of those games where you have to find the right path. It's cool, though. I like that they have a whole story tied into it. There's always some sort of story, but this seems a little more in-depth than they usually do. Anyway, let's turn the page, and we have Elemental Power Knowledge. Oh, and this is a quiz to test your knowledge of elemental powers. Let's see how I do. Alright. Question 1. Who do the ninjas see off at the start of the second half of Season 3? The Forbidden Five, ninja fans after an exclusive tour of the monastery, Zane and Pixel. Pretty sure that was Zane and Pixel. Alright. My ship, my rules. Question 2. Who's the captain of the new temple bounty? Well, we know that is, P. Wildfire. Question 3. What is the name of the sorceress who has stored her consciousness into a coconut? I don't even want to answer that question, but it's Gondolaria. Question 4. In the action-packed finale, the Chaos Dragon loses, but to who? It was obviously the ninja and the Arc Dragon. Question 5. Where were the captured souls taken to? The Well of the Lost? Yeah, that's the... Yes. Yes? Yes. I know the Well of the Lost is a thing. I'm trying to remember if it was something else they went to, but no, they went to the Well of the Lost. That's correct. What color is Wildfire's jumper? Okay, they're going a little more niche. It's blue, I believe. Yeah, I think it's blue. Whose face did Mr. Frohike throw the soup bowl at? That was Lord Roz. Question 8. Who explains to the ninja how to summon the Arc Dragon of Focus? That was Blecht, right? Yeah, it was Blecht. That's why they had to go find him in the dungeon. Question 9. Whose smelly sport pants are these? I think Agent Leopold? Jay's holding them, so I feel like that's the only thing it could be. Question 10. Gio and Cole's young friends' souls were stolen. What are their names? Well, that's Fritz, Spitz, and Bonzel. I don't think Bonzel's very young, but... Question 11. Who's expanding their unicorn collection in Ninjago? That's, of course, Rapton. And then we have Total Lee. What does the large handful of Lees say immediately after this? I actually don't know. Fist formation? It looks like they're making a hand. That sounds right. Okay, and the solution word is spectral land, if you get everything right, which, I did. Alright, we spent way too long on that. Let's turn to the next page. Here is I, and you gotta follow these instructions to see which ninja gets the most points. Then we have a Master of Style, which looks to be like the coloring page / drawing page for this book. You're supposed to pick the accessories and then draw the rest of your character. That's cute. I feel like they're kind of running out of ideas, but that always happens like towards the end of the cycle. This is one of the last Dragons Rising Season 3 magazines before they get into Season 4, so there's only so much they can pull from at this point. Anyway, turning the page again, now we are at the comics. So as always with the comics, I'm not going to read the entire thing to you guys, but feel free to pause the video and read it for yourself. And if I notice anything especially funny or interesting, I will stop and point it out. This one is called Can You Dig It? And I'm already seeing Dr. Larow, so... Actually, that's interesting, especially in the context of Season 4. I wonder if it's going to tie in at all. Interesting, it actually does seem like it's going to tie into Dragons Rising Season 4. So something that's important to remember about these comics is they are not canon. Like 99% of the time, they are not canon at all. But what's important to keep in mind is the writers of these comics do know what's happening next a lot of the time. Like 6 months ago, like right after Dragons Rising Season 3 ended, they probably didn't know, but at this point when they were writing this, they probably do know what's happening in Dragons Rising Season 4. And based off what we know from the sets, it seems like this might actually be tying into it, so we might get a hint of some character motivations, maybe a little bit. I'm still trying to be a little careful not to spoil the one thing that's in the sets, and I don't know why. It's in the sets. I don't consider it a spoiler, but people are upset when I don't mention it, so I'm trying not to, like, be too clear about it. But yeah, this potentially ties into Dragons Rising Season 4 in some way to give a little hint as to certain character motivations. So I'm actually curious to see where this goes. But yeah, Larow is trying to make Photak dragons with dragon bones, and it looks like they're trying to seek out the Source Dragon skeleton, which is interesting that she would know where that is, but sure. So yeah, let's see what happens next. This is actually very interesting. Oh, interesting. So this seems to take place like during the episode where they find the Source Dragon, because it disappears in the episode, right? And then they race away in the thing and go to Imperium. So I guess this is implying this is happening like off-screen in the middle of that. I kind of like that. I don't know if that's necessarily a place where you need an extra story, but I feel like it works well enough. I am glad to see Frak in the comic. Okay, so Kolkai and Frak successfully free the dragons, but they're running out of energy, so Frak has to reconnect back to the bikes. Interesting. This kind of feels like this could be the ending to the comic, so I'm curious where it's going to go in the next part. But of course, we are at the break in the comic. So in the meantime, we have Perseverance wins the day, and you have to find which of these faces is correct, and some of them look very funny. Like, that's a very cursed Lloyd right there. That's a very cursed Kai as well. Nia is pretty symmetrical in general, so she looks pretty normal most of these. Like, obviously these two are both mirrored, but that doesn't look nearly as off as, like, this does. This is really odd. And then we have the poster in the middle of the magazine. On one side, it looks like we just have all of the villains of Dragons Rising, so we have the Forbidden Five, Lord Roz, Cinder, Giordano, one of the Spectral Dragonians, Empress Beatrix, and Rapton. Quite the funny lineup, because obviously Roz doesn't really like a few of these people. But it's cool to see them all together like this. Not sure what's going on with Cinder's expression. He looks very jolly in a way I've never seen him before. But no, I like this. Nothing too crazy. But it's the kind of thing I could imagine really liking, especially as a kid. All the renders are in the same style. There's no, like, weird or unnecessary text. I like it. This is fine. Ooh, and this one's really cool. I like this one a lot. So it's a big poster for Lloyd with a bunch of panels from previous Ninjago Magazine comics. I want to say we got this before for another character. Like, I could swear I've seen something similar to this before. But I cover so many magazines, it's hard to say who it was and how long ago it was. But yeah, this is really awesome because all the magazine art is original art. It's not just like random renders slapped together. And then we have like the official illustration of Spectral Lloyd on the side right here and the sort of like comic book burst effect around the edges. This looks awesome. Really, really well designed. They've been knocking it out of the park with the posters lately. There's been a lot of very good ones, and this one is absolutely no exception. Coming back to the magazine though, we have Zigzag Home, which is just a series of mazes for a bunch of different dragons, and then Topsy Turvy Ride, where you have to get Sora from the start to the finish without hitting any of the Spectral Dragonians. And now after that, we are back to the comic. Larow's vehicle here is so funny. It's got a drill on it, it's got like a scooper. Then those legs come from one of the Titan Mechs, I forget which one, but they're pulled like directly from them, but then it's also got treads. The shoulder pads are from something too, I recognize those. Very funny seeing it all combined though. Cole and Frak work together to create a hole that they all fall into. That's sick. But uh-oh, that thing had a drill on it, so it's back up, and it's shooting a bunch of sand at them, so they gotta fight it. And then Dr. Larow wants to crush the ninja with a rock, but Frak uses the power of Quake to break the rock, and then the entire thing breaks, it comes crashing down, and now the day is saved so the episode can continue. We've got some very funny characters in this shot right here. Frak looks very, very funny, actually. Why does he look like that? He looks like Jar Jar Binks or something. Kai also looks really goofy. He's got, like, the old Happy Cole face from, like, 2016. And Cole also looks silly, but not nearly as silly as these two. That's a very funny panel. Honestly, that was a fun comic. I really enjoyed that. I might be having, like, Frak bias here, because I love Frak, and anytime we get to see Frak is really exciting. But no, I mean, it's like a slight teaser for Dragons Rising Season 4, I feel like. Like, there's nothing major in here, but I feel like once that season airs, and if you know the sets, you know what I'm talking about. So that's kind of cool, but, like, the major plot's not going to tie in at all. It fits into an episode nicely, and it's Frak. It's Frak. I love Frak. Yeah, I think that's awesome. Now, of course, that's the end of the comic, but it's not the end of the magazine, because first we have On the Trail of Giants. Interesting, so this is all about the Source Dragon, so this is one of those, like, info dump pages. Again, feel free to pause and read for yourself. I'm gonna go through it real quick and see if there's anything especially interesting here to point out, because there might be some, like, lore details that'll tie into Season 4. That's interesting. That right there? That's interesting. Okay, yeah, it does not seem to be, like, any new info here. They mentioned the Arc Dragons that were killed by the Forbidden Five, and it says they were avatars of motion and life. I don't know if we knew that it was just those two in particular, but I feel like it makes sense. I do really like this, though, the fact that they're calling so much attention to it, because I feel like this lore has been spread out over the first 3 seasons of the show, so it's neat to have it all summed up on 2 pages. They show the dragons who don't want to help the heroes and the ones that do. They show which source is connected to each ninja, which is cool to have officially, even though a lot of it's implied. Thunderfang saying his iconic line, "I am so powerful!" And they do call out the 3 icons that we know of as well, though unfortunately they do not say who the Bone Sword's for, which that would be really cool if they called out, like, hey, that's for this specific Source Dragon, because we don't know that yet. But hopefully we'll find out in Season 4. Interesting to read through, honestly. Even though it is mostly just a summary, I enjoyed going through it. Then after that, we have an advertisement for the Arc Dragon of Focus. That's interesting. I thought they'd be doing summer sets, but no, I guess they're going back and doing a March set now. Okay. They're tying into, like, how it appeared in the show. That's cool, I guess. But yeah, this is basically just an ad. Showing you the minifigures, showing you the set. I have such mixed feelings on this set. I think it's alright. The whole, like, split color scheme is really cool, and it's got one of the best minifigure selections of any Ninjago set ever. But it's definitely awkward in a few places, too. I like it overall, though. I think most people dislike it more than I do. After that, we have Action Pack Trip. Ooh, this is a game with Zane and Pixel on their trip out in the world. Alright, it's a dice rolling board game with a move around the board, try to find all these relics, whoever finds them all first wins. That's cute. I like that there's a game that's not all about, like, combat. This is very wholesome and cute. And then after that should be an ad for next month's magazine, which comes with a Spectral Tier minifigure. Honestly, kinda cool to get. Like, the regular Spectral Dragonians come in tons of sets, but the ones with the full wings and everything actually don't come in too many. I do think we got that in a magazine before, right? We got the regular Dragonian with the full back attachment, so a bit weird that we're getting Tier as well, because the only difference between those minifigures is just this right here, the upper helmet piece. Tier's got it in white, and the rest have it in gunmetal gray. So maybe a bit redundant, but I don't know. He does only come in one set, so cool to get officially. Definitely not as good as, let's say, Frak, but I still like getting him here. And finally, we have Who Am I? And this is a game you can play with a friend where you draw a card and you have to describe that character using like one of these methods depending on what you roll. That's fun. I like that Heatwave and Geo and Frohickey are here. Imperium Guard. That would stink if you got Imperium Guard. And you can even draw your own 4 characters here. Anyway, I think that's going to do it for the actual magazine, but now we get into the exciting part. Let's take a look at those minifigures, including the Frak minifigure. Also this guy. So here are the minifigures fully put together, and I want to start by talking about Lloyd's accessory because it's huge. Look at this thing. It's this double-bladed, huge sword staff thing. You see, one of my favorite things about the Ninjago magazines is the really unique weapons it gives its minifigures, because this is the kind of thing you would never see in a main wave Ninjago set. I think it's so silly and so creative, this is exactly what I want. More of this, please. That being said, it's hard to capture on camera because there's so much of it, so let's get that out of his hand. Now, with that out of the way, let's talk about Frak, because he's the minifigure that everybody who gets this magazine is going to get. And he comes with, like, this little tiny scythe blade. I honestly like this for him. It is somewhat unique. Like, this is the kind of weapon you probably wouldn't see in a main wave set, especially, like, with that little bit of lime green. Definitely not as complex as some other weapons we've gotten. It's only 3 parts, but I think it's good. It feels unique for him. I kind of like it too because this piece was originally introduced in 2012, the same time as the Serpentine, so it feels like it's almost harkening back to the origins of the Serpentine. And it's a scythe too, which is what Cole uses, and of course Cole is like Frak's mentor. So I think it actually works really well for him. With that removed though, here's a full look of the Frak minifigure, and I have very, very mixed opinions on him. As you've heard all throughout this video, I love Frak, I'm happy to get Frak in any form, so excited to be getting this minifigure again, and there is a lot that I like about this. I think the gray outfit with the sleeveless design is really cool. Gray is a color not a ton of the ninja use, like Cole uses it a little bit, but we've never really seen dark gray as a base color for one of the ninja, so that sets Frak apart. Frak is also the second ninja after Lloyd to use green as a major part of his color scheme. Aaron's used it a little bit, Wildfire's used it a little bit, but nobody's used it this much like Frak does. And all that combined with the fact that he has orange skin and he's a snake, it does make him feel very unique. Which when now we're at the point where we have 10 different ninja minifigures, having one of the new ones actually feel very unique is a good thing. His snake symbol on the back is adorable. I mean, all the ninja usually have their symbols on their backs, but this is just the perfect symbol for him. It's vaguely shaped like the Ninjago letter F, because all the ninja symbols are shaped like the first letter of their name, but because he's a snake, it's also a snake. I think that's awesome. Also, the use of lime green specifically, that's the color that all the Serpentine used back in 2012. So even though he's not a green snake himself, aside from his eyes, it feels like it's calling back to that. Now the parts I don't like, the head mold I'm very mixed on. I do like the idea of having the head mold with the ninja mask up so he can actually properly be a ninja. Unlike, for example, Wildfire, who's never had a proper ninja outfit. This does feel like Frak's actually a ninja. What I don't like, though, is he doesn't have any pupils. For some reason, his eyes are just a solid color, which is not at all how he looks in the show. Plenty of other Serpentine have had printed pupils. I mean, go all the way back to 2012. Those Serpentine had printed pupils. So the fact that it wasn't included here is very disappointing to see. The other thing, too, is while I like the ninja mask style, I wish there was the option for a non-ninja mask style, because he only wears this so often in the show. It's like back in 2011, 2012, when we didn't have all the ninjas' hair pieces. The fact that there's no way to have an unmasked Frak right now is a little disappointing. The pupils are the biggest thing, though. I wouldn't mind like the lack of an alternate headpiece as much if he still had those pupils. But yeah, those missing makes this not entirely feel like Frak, and I think that's a real shame, because he's an awesome character with a ton of personality, and even though a lot of that is translated over here, this doesn't fully feel like him. And then Climber Lloyd I'll be a bit quicker on because not everybody's going to get this figure if they get this magazine, but in short, I really like the Climber suits. Honestly, I forgot they were this good until I built this guy up again. The armor piece is spectacular, so incredibly detailed, like the texture on it's amazing, and it's dual molded as well. And I love that it's dual molded in the ninja's secondary color, it's dark green instead of the bright green. That helps make the entire outfit not feel too bright. I'm not the biggest fan of the lime green belt. I know like in the concept art he had a dark red belt instead, and I think that would have been really cool. But even still, I think it looks great. And these are the climber suits, so he's got like the ropes on his belt, the little like climbing hooks. The armor piece is by far the highlight, but honestly the entire thing's really good. And here is how he looks with armor and hood removed. And there's a look, the front torso print and alternate face. Frak is already a minifigure I was super excited to get, so this magazine absolutely did not need a bonus minifigure. So getting this guy truly does feel like an actual bonus. I'm quite happy he's here. But now, what are my thoughts on this magazine overall? I mean, honestly, it's great, every single aspect of it. The comic I found to be a lot of fun. There were some really great posters this time around. You got an amazing minifigure in Frak, one that's exclusive to a very big set, so now you can have him for much cheaper. And then on top of it, it came with a bonus minifigure too, so you get 2 minifigures for the price of 1. The game was the least important thing to me because I'm not the target audience at all, but even those seemed pretty unique and fun this time around. Yeah, honestly, if you guys are somewhere this is available and you can find it, pick it up, absolutely. Even if you already have a Frak minifigure, it's cool to get a second. Maybe I'm just biased towards Frak, but I don't know, I think this was a really good one. Probably one of my favorite overall packages in a while. But of course, those are just my thoughts, so let me know what you guys thought of this magazine in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like on it, subscribe to my channel if you're new. Make sure to use code BRICKSBYMIND in the Fortnite item shop. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye.